So John, we have a couple of questions for you. First of which is, why are you running for town council?
So community service has always been something that I've admired in others and that I've been lucky enough to enjoy most recently as a member of the Cape Elizabeth School Board. At this point, I feel like I have more that I can contribute by being a member of the town council than the school board, and so that's why I'm running for town council. I sort of see the job as one where you need to be able to lead through vision and through collaboration and through sort of fact-based deliberation. And I think that my service on the school board has demonstrated that I can bring those skills to the table.
Great, thank you. Okay, so in order of preference, what do you think makes a town thrive today?
So what I think makes a town thrive first and foremost is the sense of community. And that's something that can be townwide, it can be neighborhood by neighborhood. I think Cape Elizabeth has a really strong sense of community. That's what I think makes a town thrive, really being able to look out for each other and sort of operate as a one, full cooperative community. That's number one. I think in Cape Elizabeth, the things that are really important and do make the town thrive are open spaces, particularly Fort Williams Park and the green belts and things like that, and the access to the outdoors and how accessible both the beaches and the coast is and the walking trails around town. I think many people enjoy that. It's a part of the lifestyle here in Cape Elizabeth that we treasure and want to preserve. I also think the schools are a big part of what Cape Elizabeth is about. I mean, if you look nationally, what people know Cape Elizabeth for? Our lighthouse at Fort Williams and our school system. So I think those are really important to think about and preserve and sort of can be factors that unify the community.
Great, thank you. All right, what is your opinion on the condition and potential for improvement of our school buildings?
So the school buildings need help. I think they've been underinvested in for some time. I think it's sort of been a cumulative problem, and we did a lot of not taking into consideration the risk of doing what you did last year. Continued to grow higher and higher, and there are some things that really need to be addressed. I think it's a challenge to sort of in a process that you want to move quickly, but you don't want to rush, because really envisioning what we want as a school building in the next 10, 15, 20 years is a hard challenge. And I think I would not want to make a similar mistake that happened sort of with when they built the police building and built a brand new police building, and not long after, there's no police that are in that building hardly. So I think you want to really think carefully about that and make wise investments, but it's time to create a better learning environment and really walk the walk. If we want to have excellent schools, they've got to be like excellent schools. It doesn't mean they're gold-plated, but it does mean that they're clean, they're well lit, that there's not issues that affect learning like noise and other sorts of building maintenance issues.
Okay, thank you. In last year's budget season, our town proposed addressing our school district's dependency on state funding by adopting a new one-town approach for financial planning. What skill sets could you bring towards implementing the one-town vision?
So two things, one of which is I feel like I understand the budgeting and financial process. That's what I'm a financial person in my professional life. I spent a lot of time with the school budget and looking at the one-town concept, and there is a great room for improvement. In fact, that's one of the things I think really needs to be addressed, regardless of whether I'm elected or not. Really need to formalize what do we mean by the one-town concept. That arose a while ago when they were looking at consolidating school districts, and Cape Elizabeth didn't want to, and it was sort of and the one-town concept has never been reduced to writing. So if you are an employee who works for both the town and the schools and there's a conflict, there's no guiding document to tell you how and what to do. We shouldn't be placing people in those situations. We need to clarify it. And I think there are some things that we can do in how we do that that makes it more cooperative and much less antagonistic. But the way it is now, where one group approves the budget and there's no governing document about how you work together, invites problems. So in terms of going forward and building what we can do, I think that one of the things we need to really think about is bringing the data to the table to understand what we are doing. Because I don't think there's agreement or knowledge about what a good school system costs, or what you mean when you say a good school system. When if you ask people in town, do you want a good school system? To a man, they will all say, yes, we want excellent school systems. But if you then link it to say, this is what that costs, you may get different answers. And in fact, we don't really know the answers to that question because we haven't done the full work of, particularly at the town council level, of what does it cost in terms of really looking at what are the other school districts we compare ourselves to, what do they really cost? And you can adjust for real estate prices and wage prices, but really do the work to say, if you want a school system and that looks like this and is like this, this is what it costs and this is what we expect it to cost. And then I think you have a challenge of managing how your revenue base rises, which is your land values and tax rate, and how wages and healthcare, which is the large driver of what's in school budget costs, how those track together in the long term, and to the extent they get out of whack, that's when you cause problems. And then you compound that with what's been happening with the state funding. It's not just gone down, it goes up and down and up and down, and you can't plan that way. No organization can plan when their big chunk of their budgeting goes up and down, and that's something I'd love to see addressed, although it's only tangentially a town council issue.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Sure.